Of what importance is the proclamation of the date for this year's local government elections? What are the most important dates on the IEC's calendar? And is the IEC capable of ensuring that all political parties campaign without fear or intimidation? Is the pending Constitutional Court ruling on voter addresses likely to affect local elections? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The proclamation of the date for this year's local government elections was recently announced by Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Rooyen. Having announced their manifestos, political parties are hard at work in preparation for the much-anticipated local elections. Reports of clashes between supporters of some political parties has put the effectiveness of the IEC's Electoral Code of Conduct under scrutiny. For its part, though, the IEC is working towards ensuring that its reputation for conducting free and fair elections remains intact. We are live. If you can call us and air your views, the numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Our Twitter handle at Question Time 24. My guest today, Terry Tselane, is the Deputy Chairperson of the IEC. Tselane, welcome to Question Time.
Thank you very much for having me here.
The date has been proclaimed. What does it mean in simple terms?
Well, immediately when a date of election is proclaimed, from our side, we close the voters' roll. And in other words, any person who by that time has not registered will not be able to register to participate, particularly in this year's local government elections.
Okay, now let's talk about the registration of candidates, right? Where is that process? What is happening now?
It is ongoing. As you know, we started sometime during the beginning of this week.
Yes.
And we will be closing for the submission of lists by political parties and independent candidates on the 2nd of June, which is this Thursday.
Okay.
But now what we have done is that for the first time we introduce a new innovation as the Electoral Commission. So there are two processes that we are following. The first is the application that we have introduced. In terms of that application, you can actually submit all the information by putting in all your details through that particular system.
Okay.
And the second one is where you can submit that information through a manual system. In other words, you go to a municipality where our offices are located and you submit that information. We expect all the information to have reached our offices either through the electronic means or alternatively through manual means by the 2nd of June at 5 o'clock.
So, independents who want to register are free to do so?
Absolutely. Any person who intends participating in this election as a candidate, particularly as an independent candidate, has got to meet certain requirements. One of those is that a person must pay a deposit of 1,000 rand to contest a vote, but also must submit at least 50 signatures of people who are registered in that particular ward that a candidate is contesting.
And then, in terms of political parties, what is going to happen? Are political parties submitting one bulk submission? Are they making one bulk submission, or what is the case?
It depends on a political party. As you know, that we've got quite a number of municipalities, and we've got 3 categories of municipalities. You've got metro municipalities, you've got district municipalities, and local municipalities. So a political party that is contesting the elections will choose whether it is contesting a metro, a district, or a local municipality. Now, all these categories have got different amounts that have got to be paid as a deposit. If you are contesting for a local municipality, you will pay 2,000 rands for a municipality. If you are contesting for a ward, as I've indicated, you pay 1,000 rands for a ward. But if you're contesting a metro, you pay then 3,500 rands. So it depends where a political party is contesting. But if you're contesting all the municipalities, all the wards, as normally the big political parties do, then you pay a deposit of about 482,000 rands.
Okay, now, how many wards are we talking about in South Africa?
We're talking about almost 4,659 wards.
You see, yesterday, the EFF, in one of their briefings, made a point which I thought was valid when they said, when it comes to special votes, party agents are not allowed, or are not present, let's not say they are not allowed, are not present when IEC officials visit special voters. What is going to happen this time around? Are party agents going to be allowed?
Look, I mean, it's not as though from our side as the Electoral Commission are prohibiting party agents to accompany the officials of the Electoral Commission. But remember, there are two processes in relation to special votes. We will be visiting on a particular day all those individuals who would have requested the Electoral Commission to visit in order for them to be able to cast a special vote. But we will also be opening again for special votes all our registration stations or all our voting stations in order to allow people to vote at the voting station if they have applied.
Okay.
So those who are not able to go to the voting stations, largely because of infirmity, will be visited. Now, when I come to your home, you have got the absolute right to indicate as to whether you are in agreement that an agent of a political party can accompany officials of the Electoral Commission or not. So the reason why there is that provision, which basically alerts the political parties to the fact that when our officials visit homes, it is possible that the people that are being visited might not want party agents to be there to see as they cast their votes. So I think it is important for us to respect their privacy if they so wish.
Okay, Billy, you are in Tembisa. Welcome.
Yes, Mr. Mpho. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Billy.
Good. So I just want to ask you, actually from IEC, who counts the vote of those political parties? Is the official of IEC?
Okay. Well, we got the gist of the question. Who counts the votes? Is it just yourselves or party agents also included in the special votes?
The special votes are counted together with all other votes after voting has happened. In other words, on the day of the elections, we're going to be getting all the special votes cast. They are not counted. They are still sealed in envelopes. We take them to a voting station, and immediately after voting has occurred, we take those special votes ballot papers, and they are put together in the same ballot box with other votes once certain preliminaries have already happened, and those special votes would then be counted together with other ballots that have been cast on the day of voting.
Okay, hold it there. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we continue our discussion. The number to dial is 089-1104210, 089-1104210. Please don't go away.
Searching for the guy who steps up, way up, the queen of the pop and lock, and whatever this is, the party train conductor, all aboard! The answer is yes. You are that guy, and we salute you, party comrade. Join the movement online.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is Terry Tsedu. He's the Deputy Chairperson of the IEC of South Africa. Lakaje, you are in Qwaqwa.
Yes, Mpho, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for the call.
Thank you. My question to Tsedu is, what will happen with those voters whose addresses do not appear on the voter roll?
I'm battling to hear you. What will happen with which voters?
No, I'm saying what will happen to the voters whose addresses do not appear on the voter roll?
Oh, okay, those whose names do not appear on the voters' roll. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you, Lakaje.
As you may be aware, this is a matter that is before the Constitutional Court. Mm-hmm. And in legal terms, they always say that the matter is subject to care, which means that you cannot actually deal with the details of that matter to the extent that it is still before the courts. But we are confident that we will proceed accordingly. We are planning for a process where every person who is registered will be able to participate in the process. But the finality in relation to this particular matter will come from the Constitutional Court when they make judgment.
But are you not in contempt of court then in that case, if you're preparing elections upon which the Constitutional Court has not pronounced its validity?
No.
Okay.
The matters that are before the courts are not in relation to whether we should proceed or not proceed with the elections.
Okay.
So there is no contempt of court at all.
All right. Ayanda, you are in Durban.
Oh, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Ayanda.
I'm good. And good evening to Mr. Tsedu there. Just two questions for you, Mpho. Not actually for you, for Mr. Tsedu.
Okay.
Firstly, I want to ask as to what is going to transpire to the some of the parties which have last couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, have signed a code of conduct. If perhaps in any manner they do not adhere to that code of conduct, what is going to happen to them? And secondly, Mpho, I think we are aware that there are a lot of things happening in the country, including violence and all that. But just another last question for Mr. Tsedu is that what is going to happen to those who have registered to vote, but they cannot go and go on vote because of maybe they're in hospitals or they in a situation where they cannot reach or go to the voting station and to vote for their party. Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much, Ayanda.
Sure.
The last question as to what is going to be happening in relation to people who are maybe in hospitals or who are in old age homes who want to participate in the process but cannot be able to go to the voting stations. There is a provision from the 10th of this month until the 18th. Okay. We will be opening our special votes application. So a person can apply, or you can ask someone to apply on your behalf. And once you have applied, you will be visited by our officials, either at the hospital or even old age homes. But it's important for me to emphasize this issue because sometimes people do not make an application and they expect that once the officials of the Electoral Commission go to a old age home, then every person who is in the old age home should actually be given a special vote. It does not go according to that. A person who casts a special vote, it's a person who has applied to the commission. We will know how many people will be visiting, even if we go to old age home. Okay. And then we can see people who cannot be able to go to the voting station. For as long as those people have not applied, they will not be catered for. Okay. We will only target those people whose details we have because they have properly registered for special votes.
Contravention of the Electoral Code of Conduct?
Of course, we are concerned as the Electoral Commission about the contravention. The reason why we got all the political parties to publicly commit to the Code of Conduct is because we firstly want their supporters to be able to see that the leadership of their organizations have committed themselves to ensuring that the environment within which we are going to have these elections is conducive for a free and fair election.
Yeah.
Now, if certain things start happening which are contravention of that, then it becomes a matter of serious concern to us as a commission. Okay. But thus far, what has happened is that the party that has submitted complaints in relation to alleged violation of the conduct or code of conduct is the EFF in relation to alleged disruptions that happened in Mpumalanga as well as KwaZulu-Natal. Yes. The Commission is currently processing those complaints, and then we'll see how we arrive at a decision as a Commission in relation to that matter.
Itumeleng, you are in Pretoria.
Thank you very much, Mpho. I want to ask about every time after the elections we hear about ballot papers that were found being thrown somewhere. Oh, yes. There are ballot papers of EFF or ballot papers of what was being found. Is that true, and what does the IEC do about that?
Okay, yes. You hear reports that at a particular dumping site, boxes of ballot papers were found and all that.
You know, this is one of the most important issues. We have been emphasizing in our training program to all our presiding officers that they must understand that a ballot paper is the most important element of the electoral process. So even after people have voted and counting has already happened, it is important that they guard those ballot papers and make sure that they reach a place of safety without any interference. So in some of the instances, you find the presiding officers, once counting has happened, once the results of that particular station is made, they leave the ballot papers in their ballot boxes in a classroom where voting was taking place, with the understanding that they will come and fetch those ballot papers the following day. And then what happens? That creates confusion, because then any person can have access to that, to those ballot papers, and this is what has happened in some of the instances. A person finds the ballot papers that have already been counted, and they move around and say that those ballot papers have not been counted. Now, for us to announce the results of the election, we've got to make sure that we've got the results of each and every voting station that we've got in our system. So it means all the areas, even including in the areas where you've got the ballot papers that were shown on TV and everywhere, those ballot papers are accounted for. They had already been captured. But it is important for our officials to understand that under no circumstances will we allow a situation where after voting and counting has happened, a person just abandons the ballot papers.
Elliot, you are in Lebochum.
Yes, thank you very much, Mpho, for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I just want to find out from your panelist today, just asking because there's an outcry now from the Democratic Alliance.
Yes.
They are crying that, look, the SABC does not want to air our advertisement because the IEC has not yet submitted the list of all political parties registered and legitimate registered political parties. Just allow him to explain to us the processes. Are they involved? Should the IEC submit that registered list to the SABC and to any other interested party, or what is the procedure thereof?
Or the SABC is lying?
I'm not sure.
Is that what you wanted to say? You can say it. We are a free country.
Yes, but I just want to find out, because the SABC is saying, no, we did not receive the list from the IEC and the DA says, but no, that is not how the process works. You should air our advertisement. And they say, no, IEC, we are waiting for you to bring us the list.
The list, okay.
Thanks, Paul.
That is right.
I'm not familiar with the issue. And therefore, for me to comment on that particular aspect of an issue whose details I do not have, would be a little bit problematic. But safe to say that from the way we operate, the code of conduct becomes effective upon proclamation. So on the day that the proclamation happens, then it is binding to the political parties. Of course, the political parties and party agents still have to submit their details, as I've indicated, by the 2nd of this month, and to make sure that they commit themselves to the implementation and respect of the code of conduct. So I'm not familiar with the issue, but because you never really know, even after you've proclaimed the date of the elections, you don't know which political parties are going to be participating in elections until after they've submitted all their details. So, well,
what the listener or the viewer there is saying is that is it a requirement for the SABC or for the IEC to submit a list of all participants to the SABC to say, okay, for this year's elections, these are the parties that have registered, and therefore you can take it from there?
No, there is no such a requirement.
Okay, then, all right. You're sure?
I can assure you that in terms of our processes, there is no requirement for us to submit our list to the SABC or any of the media houses.
Okay. Let's talk about the mobile voting units. What's going to be happening with those?
Throughout the country, we've got about 30 mobile voting stations. Mm-hmm. And in terms of our proclamation in terms of our election timetable, we do indicate where the mobile voting stations are going to be, and we are required again to issue a timetable of where the route that is going to be followed mm-hmm. By the mobiles, as well as the areas, and by what time they're going to be reaching the areas that are specified within.
What type of areas do they go to?
No, you find areas such as Northern Cape that are sparsely populated. Mm. And you find that there is one house there which is more than 10 kilos away from the second house, or two houses. And then the place is so small that it can't have its own voting district.
Yes.
But at the same time, the voting station is so far that people cannot actually walk to the voting station. So it is within that context that we then create a mobile voting station for those kind of areas.
Okay. At what point does the media freedom form part of free and fair electioneering?
Media freedom is an important element, obviously, of ensuring free and fair elections. That's why there is a requirement in terms of the ICASA for political parties to and for media houses to comply with the regulations that the ICASA issues. So it is part of a bouquet of matters that, taken in consideration, all of them constitute free and fair elections.
So does the EFF barring a media organization constitute violation of the election of the electoral code?
I can't comment on those kind of issues. As I've indicated to you, the manner that the Commission operates is that you've got to submit a complaint in relation to a particular matter. Okay. And then the Commission then can investigate the merits of that particular case and deal with it. And then currently, as I appear before you, the only complaints that we have received are in relation to the alleged disruptions of the EFF rallies in Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal.
But in this case, can a media organization approach you and say that if EFF says we should not be at any of their functions or any of their rallies, is that contravention?
If a matter like that is submitted to the Commission will consider it in conjunction with the ICASA and try to deal with that particular issue depending on its merits.
That's right. Sorry to bring you into politics.
Thank you very much, man.
All righty. That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.